Hi, I'm Seb, and welcome to this community Q&A celebrating 1 year of To The Trains on YouTube. I'll be answering a few questions about myself, trains, and the channel that have all been asked by you. Furthermore, there will also be a follow-up behind the scenes video that details the entire video production process, so if that appeals to you more, be sure to be on the lookout for that in the next couple of weeks. I'm just going to get straight into some questions and answer as many as I can without dragging on the video for too long. Why did you start a YouTube channel and base it around UK railways? I like trains, I like editing videos. I had seen there was room for smaller content creators within this area of YouTube, and there was no reason to not give it a go. I also play games and have other interests of course, but it would likely have taken double the effort and time at least to get a gaming channel to 500 subscribers. Running a YouTube channel is sort of like a business, I suppose. You either need to A, have an original idea or build upon an existing idea with a twist, B, need to see that there's an available space in the quote-unquote market to plant yourself, or C, do the same thing that others are doing, but better. Now, I have no clue on how to run an actual business, so this is not good advice by any means, but I did see that I could indeed create a channel and get some sort of growth, leading me to where I am today. Who was your main inspiration for creating railway-based content? There isn't just a single person or channel that fits that position for me, rather multiple YouTubers of many sizes. One that will be obvious to anyone with any substantial interest in the railways will be Jeff Marshall. However, a lot of it actually came from these three trip report style YouTubers. I like their videos and how they offered a lot of information about rolling stock and of course the routes they run along and the various trips that can be had. But I think maybe the one person who really got me interested in railway content production was WM Trainspotting, or formerly West Mids Trainspotting. At the time when I was considering this and I came across his content, it highlighted that maybe I could actually do this too. At that point I had editing experience, a phone to film with, and a few ideas for videos, and seeing that there was room for these relatively smaller but upcoming content creators on YouTube within this area showed me that I might as well give it a go. Is there a plan for after you finish all of Greater Anglia's regional routes? Will you do the electric/commuter routes of Greater Anglia next, or will you move on to other operators as well? Well, I'm actually glad you asked because it's been something that I've been thinking about but can't say I've actually decided yet. The electric and commuter routes of Greater Anglia is something I've definitely actually considered, and it might go ahead, but I'm not sure. I don't know how interesting I could make that series, as I would already consider the regional route series to admittedly be maybe the least interesting series on the channel. For me, it's more about documenting these routes and the communities they serve. I haven't really delved into the urban London area on my channel yet, and there's plenty of potential content with a vast amount of TOCs in that area. There'll be something for sure, basically. If you have any suggestions, then just let me know one way or another, because I'm interested in producing a wide variety of content. So, what are your plans for the future, and is your channel a part of that? I don't really know what I'm doing tomorrow, let alone where I'll be in a few years' time. I would like to continue with To The Trains for as long as it's practical for me to do so. I can't see myself moving on anytime soon, so hopefully you can expect to see more content for the next few years. I obviously can't guarantee anything, and I'll keep you all updated with my future endeavours. But let's just say there's a lot of potential for the channel, and I like where it's headed currently. I would definitely like to explore mainland Europe in the distant future as well, so there's that. The only thing I really know for certain is that I definitely don't know a lot. So, like I say, I'll keep you updated, but the channel's lasted a year already, so I don't see why it can't last another few years, if not more. What job would you like to do, or what are you generally interested in? Well, I actually already do some graphic design work. I have quite a bit of experience within a few areas in the creative industry, so jobs in this industry interest me most and suit me best. Also related is my interest in broadcast media, so that's radio, TV, live events in general. I haven't had that much opportunity to get involved with that besides live streaming on YouTube and Twitch every now and then, so that's something I'd like to explore too. A job on the railways would obviously also appeal to me, but I still don't really know what I'm going to do after full-time education, so I'll have to figure that one out sooner or later. What is your favourite TOC that excludes Greater Anglia? Prior to their departure from both the West Coast and East Coast main lines, Virgin Trains I thought were pretty good. I think LNER is a decent operator, but I can't say that much as there are plenty of other TOCs I'm yet to cover on the channel. I'll just say LNER for now, but this will probably change in the future. Maybe? We'll see. Are trains a crucial thing in your life? Well, not quite. It's just a hobby, an interest of sorts. I wouldn't go as far as considering them essential, but I like trains if you couldn't tell, so I enjoy doing things such as creating content relating to trains. I could at least say that I wouldn't want to live somewhere where I couldn't take the train to somewhere else, or needed to have a car to get around. I quite like having the freedom to be able to get on a train or another sort of public transport to get around to new and regular places alike. TLDR, I'm very grateful for and enjoy having the privilege to be able to access trains and transit easily. What do you prefer when travelling? Staying at stations for some time or directly taking the next train? This one depends on what I'm doing. If I have various videos I want to film in one trip, I'd rather just get in the next train. In some cases, such as with advance tickets, that is necessary anyway. I don't mind that much if I miss a train though, provided the wait isn't that long. When I do get to the point in the future where I have to start actually commuting, then yes, that would be a bit annoying. But considering this is just for leisure of sorts for now, I don't mind really. That aside, where applicable, you are allowed to break the outward or return journeys, so sometimes I'll stay at a station to get some footage there. What software do you use to produce your content? Notion for script writing, Audacity and Audition for recording voiceovers, Premiere Pro for editing, and Photoshop for thumbnails and extra graphics. I occasionally use Audition further for the remix feature to get background music to a longer or shorter length. How long have you been editing with Premiere Pro? Since September of 2019, I believe. Before then, I made use of Shotcut, but it wasn't very good. It did, however, get the job done, and I've created videos prior to Premiere Pro to an okay-ish, actually not that good standard, but the software does have potential, and I was just new to editing at the time. I have also experimented with DaVinci Resolve, but I haven't had any reason to use it extensively because I'm making do with Premiere for now. Full disclosure, I have access to Adobe's Creative Cloud with my school because I study certain subjects. After I leave, then I'll think I'll be likely to make the switch to Resolve. What are the main differences between free video editors and paid? DaVinci Resolve shows that really, there isn't much difference at all, at least for amateur content creators on YouTube like myself. The paid-for features are targeted to a much more advanced set of users, such as industry professionals working on feature-length movies, for example. If you know how to make the most of what's available to you, and in this case, free editing software like Resolve, you can't really go wrong. As I said before, when my access to Creative Cloud expires, I'm quite likely just to hop over to Resolve and go from there. Which HSD livery was/is the best? For me, it has to be the classic Intercity blue and yellow livery, but Network Rail's particularly unusual Flying Banana and Scott Rail's Inter7 City liveries are solid runners-up. How much do you love my beloved Derek? Immensely, Arran. He's just absolutely incredible. Have you ever been on a TGV? I've not, but maybe this is something for a couple of years' time. I'd like to, so we'd have to see what happens. And what's your favourite train? I can't really say I have a favourite train as such, but the Taurus, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, is a particularly peculiar locomotive because it sounds like a musical instrument. I can't exactly be bothered to find out if showing you a clip of it would count as fair use, so check the card that has hopefully appeared in the top right, or look in the description for a link. Which country's trains interest you most? Japan is obviously high up on the list, but I don't know if they really interest me that much because it isn't geographically relevant to me. As in, Japan's on the other side of the planet, so I can't really do much about that interest besides watch videos on the internet. That's why most of my interest turns to mainland Europe because that's a lot more reasonable. It would be quite cool to actually do some interrailing in the distant future. The question did ask for countries though, so I'll say Germany followed by the Netherlands. Do you have any tips for people who want to start a railway YouTube channel? Get your SEO optimization game together. I'm not the best at it, but I do have it in mind at least for when I'm publishing videos. It's all about getting YouTube to show your video at the top of search feeds and then people's recommendations. Use keywords and keep titles succinct. Put more important words at the front of the title and sticky extras towards the back. Prioritize the title for YouTube's search engine and the thumbnail for humans. Tags are also useful as well, but they're not going to make you instantly appear in every search result. That's just not what they're for. Tags should be alternative ways that people can find your videos with. Another term thrown around in relation to YouTube SEO is trend jacking. In effect, it is hopping on some sort of bandwagon, riding a trend and using content related to it to your advantage. Let's say New Trains and World 2 route has just released. Make a video in it, stream it, etc. How far you want to go with that is up to you. However, I'd advise against swapping between vastly different subjects or you'll lose any sort of content consistency. Speaking of consistency, don't change your branding or identity ridiculously often. Start off by creating something recognizable or something that people can associate with your channel when they see it. Then don't change it for a while. That draft you made for a completely different channel identity that's a step in a completely different direction, I just wouldn't bother. Get everything you might need together, such as new banners, thumbnail designs, social media platform profile pictures, and then see if it's worth making the change. Also, as we are talking about consistency, upload schedules are handy and the algorithm will favour you for it. But I'm definitely not as good at this one though. Another point is subtitles. If your content is scripted, use YouTube's transcribe feature. I have never had to spend more than the length of the video itself adjusting the timings. Look, I could probably go on for a while, but as long as you're interested in creating railway-based content, you can't really go wrong. And not getting the growth that maybe you would have liked doesn't mean you've gone wrong. It should, if anything, be the motivation to experiment with your content until you find something that works for you, the algorithm, and your audience. So, thank you to everyone who sent in questions, even if it didn't get answered in this video. Admittedly, I got a lot more than I expected, so it was good to be able to answer so many. My next video will be a standard rolling stock overview, and that will be followed by a behind the scenes video to detail my entire production process. Stay tuned for that. I've been Seb, hopefully now you know something new, and thank you for watching To The Trains.